We had an exciting finish as the Stormers edged out the Bulls. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. Bulls start this one on the front foot. Chris Smith opens the scoring from the tee after Stormers conceded a penalty, 3-0 to the home side. Stormers, they get pinged again for holding on to the breakdown just after claiming an up and under. This one's a little bit more difficult for Smith. It's on an angle. He still gets it. It's 6-0. Creel then, from the restart, he knocks on. Simlane plays it on and off from an offside position. Penalty to the Stormers. LeBox put the Stormers on the board, 6-3. Then to Unison is pinged for obstruction at the restart. Penalty to the Bulls. Smith restores the 3-point lead, 9-3. Bulls then, they make a break from their own 22. Creel, goes down the line. Vorster, though, gets whistled for clearing out way beyond the breakdown. Like the guy's like 3 or 4 meters away from the ruck when he's trying to clear somebody out. Penalty to the Stormers right in front of the referee. They decide to go up the line. They're just outside the 22 for the line out. They attack from there, but the ball goes forward. Bulls are able to clear through Smith. Bulls then manage to work their way up to about halfway. Berger puts up and under, and it's really poor, but Hendrickson turns it into a decent kick. He somehow manages to claim the ball, and he's about to put the afterburners on, but Dion Free stretches out a long arm and just scrags the back of his jersey and manages to catch him before he gets away. Mornay Smith then gets pinged at the scrum, and the Stormers are able to clear. And at that stage, they're wondering, like, what's going on with this game and the new protocol that they have in terms of, speeding play up, because the referee doesn't seem to give them the hurry up to form the scrum, and it takes ages. Then later on in the game, you can hear them telling people, he is telling people to get on with it, but he's not actually doing anything about it. And the game felt really slow compared to the other games I've watched that have these new protocols in them that are actually being refereed properly. So I felt overall he had a pretty good game refereeing, but just, speed the game up a bit maybe. But Harris gets pinged then at the next scrum, so it's a penalty to the Bulls this time. Smith puts that one over. It's 12-3. Bulls really on top at this stage. Bulls then, they try to break from deep again, but they knock on at about halfway. Stormers attack off the back of that scrum. They go inside from the scrum and set up a ruck, and then there's a wide pass from Yanchis, finds to Unison in some space out in the wing. He goes in unopposed in the corner. We do have a bit of a TMO check for a possible forward pass. It looked forward to me. It wasn't a pass for to score the try. It was a pass from the back of the scrum in field that at normal speed live, it looked forward. On the replays, it didn't look as forward, I have to say. But referee decides he's fine with it. The try stands. It's converted from out on the touchline. And it's 12-10 at that stage. Stormers back in the game. Stormers then are off their feet at the ruck from the restart. Bulls decide to kick it up the line. They attack from the line out. Berger then, he puts another stupid up and under into 22. Like, they're deep within the 22. They're 10 or 15 meters away from the line. He kicks it up in the air. Stormers can gather, call the mark, and easy clear. I don't know what the guy was thinking when he did that. And then we have a period where the game becomes very stop and start, especially compared to the Lions versus Sharks that I've just watched just before this game. Stormers, they win another scrum penalty, but they miss touch. It's kicked back to them. Then Blomakis kicks a brilliant 50-22 to get them into good position to attack from. Bulls managed to hold them out, but then Van Staden gets pinged for hands on the ground as he's going in for the turnover. It's a penalty in front. Lebach puts the Stormers ahead for the first time in the game, 13-12, and that's how it was at half time. The Bulls were on top for much of the first half, but the Stormers responded well and really came back and took their chances. Rain then comes down for the second half. We're seeing more handy areas and more errors, and more scrums. Mornay Smith gets penalised for binding on the arm at the scrum. Their captain then is given a warning by the ref, about him and his scrummaging. And about a minute later, they decide to take him off. The scrum is pretty, solid after that, really improved once he gets replaced. The game, though, it's still very stop-start. You can hear the ref telling them, let's go, stop the huddle before lineouts, etc. But he's not actually doing anything to make them hurry up. We've seen referees free kick teams and then escalate to a penalty when all this stuff is going on, but he's just kind of, almost requesting that they hurry up rather than telling him to hurry up and backing it up. Stormers, though, at this stage, they're starting to get on top. They attack, and Grobler manages to pounce on a loose ball. He boots it forward for the Bulls, but then the Stormers are able to counter again. They break up the wing. Unison goes close again. They recycle. They go through a couple of phases, and then Pokamela is able to ground on the line from a pick and go. Lebach converts this one from the touchline. It's 20-12. Lebach then, about a minute or so later, tries to extend the lead from a long-range penalty, but it drops just short. Then Mornay Stain comes on for his 150th appearance for the Bulls, and the Bulls start to pick up from here. But before they really get into it, we have a crazy period of knock-ons, kind of half-charge downs, etc. It ends with a deliberate knock-on from Creel. TMO checks if there's a possible penalty try, but there's plenty of cover there. He gets a yellow card. Bulls are down to 14, just when you feel like they were hanging on in the game. Stormers, they go for the driving maul from the penalty. Van Staden manages to hold Free up over the line to prevent a try. And then Mornay Stain kicks a 50-22 to give the Bulls that momentum to really kickstart them back into the game. Stormers do manage, though, to turn them over from just after the line out. Lebach is able to clear. Blomakis then knocks on from a Stain up and under, and suddenly you can feel like the Bulls are believing again. They're getting back down to the right areas of the field. They just need to put some moves together. They can score the tries that they need to get themselves back ahead. They get the big men carrying. They're not really making much ground. Then Stain gets him a little bit of go forward. Low, just after that, breaks. He offloads out the back. It did look possibly forward. I don't know whether we had a check on it. And then Nkosi goes over to score. That's converted. We're at 20-19. It's a 1-point game. Bulls then, they come again. They're looking for a quick fire double, but they're get pretty close. But Free gets over the ball. He wins a penalty. Stormers are able to clear. You can feel, though, that it really is the Bulls coming looking for the win at this stage, and the Stormers beginning to, backs against the wall, kind of defending. Creel, though, he comes back on for the Bulls. First thing he does, kicks the ball straight to touch from a pass back into the 22, gives the Stormers decent position. Stormers maul makes good progress, and then Dweber breaks from the back. We have a couple of phases, and then Lebach nails a drop goal for 23-19. Bulls Then they come back to win a penalty. Stormers are offside. They go field. Stormers manage to sack them all from the line out, but the Bulls carry to within 5 meters. Stormers' defense is holding them out. It's pick and goes from the Bulls. There's no real subtlety. It's just grit and big men trying to smash their way over. Stormers, they hold them and then they manage to get over the ball and win a penalty just under the post. They kick it clear. Then from the line out, Stormers knock on. It feels like it's the last chance for the Bulls now from the scrum. Bulls so win a scrum at the penalty because Stormers were wheeling it. Clock is well in the red at this stage. They go to the corner. They set up the maul. It gets collapsed. They have another penalty. They go back to the corner again. Stormers are very aggressive in defence. And then Bern Herden manages to turn the ball over. He kicks it out. Stormers win. And it was really was a gripping end to the game, I have to say. I thought that the Bulls were going to do it, but the Stormers really did well to hold them out. Now, let's have a look at some of the stats from the game. So, in terms of tries scored, 1 to the Bulls, 2 to the Stormers. Possession was 64% for the Bulls, 36% for the Stormers. The Stormers were just clinical, I felt, when they got their chances. And that drop goal was a really smart move as well, because it meant that the Bulls couldn't go for a penalty at the end there to win it. They had to go for the try. Clean breaks, 3 from the Bulls, 6 from the Stormers. Stormers looked dangerous when they made their breaks. And then, the Bulls, sometimes they tried to shift the ball, but a lot of the time it was trying to get in a position and get the big men onto the ball. In terms of defenders beaten, 20 to the Bulls and 15 to the Stormers. Offloads, 4 for the Bulls, 8 for the Stormers. So the Stormers, trying to spread the ball, keep the ball alive, etc. The Bulls, as I said, it was a lot of big men carrying, breaking tackles, etc. Then onto the defense, so territory, 62% to the Bulls, 38% to the Stormers. So, the Bulls were in the right area of the field. They had the possession, etc. But there was no real guile in their attack. It was, you knew who was carrying the ball, and you knew who was latching onto him once he was going to carry the ball. There was no, you kind of see it from maybe the likes of Leinster and stuff, that they get their forwards to carry, but they have all these little intricate moves as well, where there's 4 or 5 forwards there, and any one of them could be the next carrier. So you can't just line up the guy and hit him the way the Stormers were doing. The Bulls were just one out carries, try and bash your way through. If the last guy didn't succeed, well, the next guy is just as big, maybe he'll get over. And they never really varied it at all. And it's a pity, because with the size of guys they have and the impact that they can have, if they added a little bit of subtlety to those carries, I feel like they would find the soft shoulders and they would get to tries when it mattered. In terms of number of tackles, then Bulls only 54. The Stormers had to do 186. They defended like men possessed. They really did well to hold those Bulls out. It was very energy sapping for them, and they kind of were hanging on a little bit at the end, but they managed to do it. Then missed tackles, 15 for the Bulls, 20 for the Stormers. Tackle success, 78% for the Bulls, a whopping 90% for the Stormers. When they had to make, more than 3 times the amount of tackles that the Bulls did, and to be able to maintain a 90% tackle success rate is amazing from them. Turnovers, 2 for the Bulls, 9 for the Stormers. Dion Fourie was getting turnovers when he went off. Then the others had to step up, and they were able to do it. there at the end as well to make sure that they denied the Bulls two pretty decent try scoring positions by doing that. Then in terms of kicks, so kick meters was 640 to the Bulls, 576 for the Stormers, so kind of even between them there. Kicks retained, 4 for the Bulls, 3 for the Stormers. Kicking success from the tee, 100% for the Bulls, 80% from the Stormers. And then penalties, 10 penalties each. So, in terms of those stats there, it looks pretty even. And, in the end, it was a fairly close game, but the Bulls definitely had the chances to win it. But fair play to the Stormers. I think in terms of in terms of the two teams, like Bulls definitely going to rue those missed opportunities to win the game. Stormers, they came back well. They were able to hold on at the end, and it was small margins, but that's the kind of thing that got them the title last year as well. And they look like they're in championship form again this season.